recently a few people have reached out to me and wanted, my take on the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. So what I'm going to do is I'll go through each step, maybe one day at a time or whatever, and try to get through the 12 steps. And I'm just going to give you my take on it. And so we'll start with step one. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives had become unmanageable. Now, when I first went into AA, I was 32 years old, just turned 32 about 3 or 4 days prior. So when I first read that, I said, man, I'm not powerless over it. I'm pretty cocky. I'm not powerless over anything. And my life, is it unmanageable? No, I mean, I've had some troubles because of my drinking, but it's not unmanageable. But quickly I found out what they meant by we were powerless over alcohol. We're powerless over the first drink. Once we put the drink in us, we want to keep going. So I got that. I said, okay, that makes sense. I'm cool with that. But the powerlessness, or the unmanageability of my life, no, because I was, still working. I was going to school. I drank through a lot of things, so it wasn't really unmanageable. I just managed my life around my drinking. And in AA, I met doctors, lawyers, accountants, vice president of a major corporation here, some investors, some builders. And, they all had problems with alcohol, but what they were doing was they were managing their life around their drinking too. They were pretty successful, people in their field, but they had a problem with alcohol. So they did what most people do. They managed their life around the alcohol. So I wouldn't say that everybody's life is unmanageable. Sure, a few people, or I shouldn't say a few, probably many people, but a lot don't have that. So yeah, the first step, if you have a problem, you got to admit that you have a problem and you got to stay off the alcohol or the drugs, man. That's the only way it works. What do I always say? Don't drink or use no matter what, and no matter what means no matter what. Hell, I wrote a book about that. So yes, powerlessness just means once you put the alcohol in you, you kind of lose control. You want the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And then, we're off to the races. So that's step one. That's my take on it. I'm going to stick to it. So I'll see you the next time, and I'll do step two.